हेलो फ्रेंड्स, हाउ टू कट अ स्टोमा बैग प्रॉपर्ली, लेट अस सी। मेरा नाम डॉक्टर प्रवीण कम्मार है। मैं कैंसर सर्जन हूँ और डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम कैंसर्स मेरा स्पेशलिटी है। मेरे स्पेशलिटी में मैंने 5000 से भी ज़्यादा सर्जरीज की होंगी।
The flange of the stoma bag should always be cut in adequate light. With good lighting, we will be able to see the markings on the stoma flange clearly. We will be able to make a precise marking that fits your stoma, and while cutting also we will be able to avoid overcutting, undercutting or damaging the other wall of the stoma bag. To cut the right sized hole in the flange, we can use the sizer. This is from Coloplast company. All stoma appliances companies provide a sizer to measure the size of your stoma. This sizer is made up of paper, and you can see there are different sized circular holes in the sizer to measure the size of your stoma. Then accordingly we can make the right sized markings on the flange and cut a right sized hole in the flange. You have to pay attention that all these holes are circular in shape, while your stoma may be of a different shape or size, and you have to be aware of that before cutting a hole in the flange. While marking the hole on the flange of the stoma bag, we also have to take into consideration the orientation in which the stoma bag is going to be applied, whether it is going to be applied vertically, horizontally, or in an oblique manner. Based on the orientation of the stoma bag application, the orientation of the marking also may change. It's not essential to have the new hole exactly in the center of the flange, as long as it lies within the maximum limits marked on the flange. Using the right kind of scissor is extremely essential to cut the right sized hole in the stoma bag. Using a big scissor will not give adequate control while cutting, and most of these big scissors do not cut at the tip. So in that situation, we push the scissor much deeper into the bag, and with that there is a risk of cutting the opposite wall of the bag, and also will not have adequate control over the size of the hole that we are planning to cut. Similarly, a scissor with a sharp tip is also not advisable, because there is a risk of injuring the opposite wall of the stoma bag. A relatively smaller size scissor which has got a blunt tip but that can cut at the tip as well is good for cutting a stoma bag. The blades of the scissor also have to be little thick and sturdy so that the scissor doesn't wobble while cutting the stoma bag. Here we have already made the marking on the flange of the stoma bag, but before starting the cutting, we have to make sure that the opposite surface of the bag is pulled away from the flange. This is important because we don't want this surface to get caught in the blades of the scissor while creating the hole. Now we know what kind of scissors are required and how to prepare the stoma bag. Now I'll pull the opposite surface away from the flange and prepare it for cutting. I'll insert one blade of the scissor through the pre-cut small hole in the flange. I'll make a vertical cut to reach the marking I have already made, and once I reach the marking, I simply follow the marking with small cuts. With small cuts, I'll have better control over the cutting, and I'll be able to avoid any sharp edges. Once the cutting is complete, I'll have a larger hole in the flange. After that, I'll run my fingers over the edge to look for any sharp edges, and if I find any sharp edges, I'll trim them and smoothen them out. In the whole process, if we end up making a hole that is little bigger than planned, then there is no need to worry, because before applying the bag, we'll use the paste at the edge of the hole, and once we apply this bag on the stoma, the paste will spread towards the exposed skin and protect it from the effluent that is coming out of stoma.